All right, Virgo. So what do we have going on for you on this full moon, right? And this month we're doing it differently. We're doing day before, day of, and day after. Right now we're in the peak of it. So we are looking at right now the peak to tomorrow and what your spiritual advice is, like what's actually coming up, what you should be maybe aware of, especially because we're doing this in the morning. You guys know me, I normally do not do stuff in the morning. That's usually my time. I got up super early for me and got ready so that I could do this, so that you guys would have the information to take it forward into your Sunday afternoon, your Sunday evening, and into your Monday, depending on where you're watching this from. So interesting. First card out we have is the 10 of Laurels, and then, okay. I was feeling 2 cards for you guys for the spiritual advice. Interesting spiritual advice. Virgo. What's going on, Virgo? What's going on? Okay, so we have like the 10 of Laurels. So I think that, for some of you Virgos out there, whether, and again, this is a collective reading, so whether we're talking about that this is a relationship related thing or it's a business related thing, it's going to mean something a little bit different. When we're looking at the 10 of Laurels, this is about what are you building, what are you creating that is going to last and stand the test of time, that's going to be like a legacy in a sense, right? So if it's about relationship, then I would apply that to relationship. Like, are you creating? Is that what you're creating? Are you sure that this is what you're creating? Or this is something that's going to come up in your heart space, in your feels, right? Or it's going to come up mentally, or it's going to come up in some way, especially because you're ruled by Gemini. So this is going to be maybe probably coming up in a very mental way of like processing and just trying to like Virgo looking into the details, picking apart and trying to figure out like, is this something that actually works for me? Is this something that I'm supposed to be doing for a relationship, a business partnership, or let's say, like whatever it is that you're creating, just apply it to that, right? Like, what are you creating that is for a legacy? What is stable? What is going to create security, right? Because we think about the earth suit, the laurels, and we think about money, we think about our physical environment, and we think about like, how are we creating a sense of stability and earthliness, groundedness in this world, especially as a Virgo, right? So especially for any kind of earth sign. Virgos are also more yin based, so there is a level of receptivity that's happening inside of the feelings that you might be getting about this. So it's just like, maybe you can apply that as like, what are you receiving in this space and during this full moon? Like, how are you actually receiving the information or the resources that are helping you to build what it is that you want to be building? And can you just be really aware of that? And the reason that I say is like, be aware, be not scrutinizing, be discerning as you can be, being a Virgo, right? Be discerning. The reason I say that is because we have your spiritual advice coming up is the 7 of Swords. So when we have the 7 of Swords showing up as spiritual advice, I'm going to say either you're lying to yourself, you're keeping information from yourself, or there's some information that hasn't come to the surface yet that is like being withheld from you. It could be secrets, it could be nefarious, right? Like this card has that reputation, but it also can just be that you are unaware of information regarding what you're trying to build for stability, and it's not like you're missing some information. So I would say with this, my strong intuitive feeling is telling me wait until after the full moon energy. Wait until the other side of this and it starts to kind of like reveal itself, maybe even up until the next major point, which would be the new moon. So maybe wait until the new moon before you make any major decisions around what this particular card is about, because I feel like this particular full moon is telling you like, hey, there's some things that you're not aware of. I think you need to just like hold off, just like wait, go slowly. I'm not saying stop and pause something completely, but definitely like give it a little bit more time before you're making any kind of decisions, whether it's about a project or a person or a relationship, whatever it is, right? And then your spiritual advice also that's coming through, which, surprising to some people would be like, oh, how is the 9 of Swords a spiritual advice card? Because it's like, hey, don't stress. Like, don't worry. Like, the stress that you have, the worries that you're having, not founded. You know, not to say that there isn't anything there for you to consider for the future, but more so that, you know, you need to just like not let this be overwhelming and consume you, like your concerns or your worries, or even any kinds of like, oh, I can't tell whether this is my intuition or this is like, you know, what's happening or whatever, or it's a worry or a fear. So I'm like, give it some time. I feel like these two cards are very clearly just saying, hey, look, Virgo, just, there's some things that you don't know. There's some things that are not clear, and there's some things that you are probably like in the background wondering about that kind of like sandpaper on the inside of your skin. They're just kind of like they're irritating in some way, and you're not going to get the answers right now. So I feel that this is a time to wait until we get into this next phase of the moon, which is only a couple weeks. Seems like forever sometimes, but it's really not so long. So give it a little bit of time, allow space for some clarity to come through. Okay, so that's what I've got for you, Virgo. All right, Virgo.